Alright then. Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to F1 2021. We are back with the Canadian Grand Prix, and yeah, we got quite a few little bit of reports and stuff. We're currently looking at seeing durability, chassis, and aerodynamics improve overall right now as far as our, as far as our stuff goes and research. So yeah, we're going to be looking into some new parts, seeing what we can do as of the moment to try and bring ourselves up into the parts. And yeah, our gearbox improvement materials have been done. We're going to go ahead and try to get the the ice improved materials done so that we can hopefully get our the ice or the internal combustion engine to last a little bit longer. That'll be done just a little after the of course Canadian Grand Prix. We could look at the MGUH improvements, but I think the turbocharger might also be on the line as far as improvements go. We still have 12 days for the pistons to come in, 12 days for the stadiators. The chassis is looking okay, but I would say that maybe we should look at the cable set, well, the under tray, or even the tire wear, or the weight distribution. But I think we're going to work on the durability and try to make sure that our turbochargers at least have a little bit of the durability and are a little more resistant to wear. And with that being said, I mean, we do still have enough for it, so let's go ahead and get the rear downforce down, and let's work on the rear wing plates to try and get ourselves into having those before the French Grand Prix. But as far as R&D it's looking pretty potentially like we're going to have everything basically ready to go. As y'all can see, at least in this season, we are looking at pretty decent improvement, pretty decent overall play. Hopefully the Canadian Grand Prix is going to go well. As y'all saw in the last race, it didn't go so well for us, but
they'll be on the car ready for the next race weekend.
But it did allow us to get a it did basically allow us to get a a what's it called available for us. It did allow us to get a lower the difficulty and stuff, and just look into that. And yeah, we're here in the Canadian Grand Prix. This will be interesting. Round 5 of the Canadian, which is of course the Canadian Grand Prix. This will be interesting. Let's see what we can do. I would say we're probably looking pretty good overall. I mean, who knows if we're going to be ready or if we're going to have some success, but but in general, we are looking to improvement on the Canadian Grand Prix. We are looking to hopefully get something out of the way and some good results. Anyway, here we are. We got a message. Francesco, morning everyone. I've attached a preview of this weekend's Grand Prix. If you have any questions, come see me in the Dad Center. Francesco, thank you. Looks like everything went smoothly with the new parts and everything fit now, which is the gearbox improved materials and Jeff. good news on the weather front. Looks like both qualifying and the race are going to stay dry. You can take a look at the latest weather report for yourself. That's one less thing to throw in the spanner in the works this weekend. See you in the garage. Thank you, Jeff. Alright, so me and George Russell are still fighting it out. 3 races to go. Let's see what has been improved, what has been progressed going into this. We're still looking better than Alpine right now. We're chasing, looks like Aston Martin, and Ferrari is making improvements. Alright then. Alfa Romeo is still getting up there. And it looks like Williams and Haas are still kind of evened, if not battling it out right now. So, yeah. I did say last race that we were going to change the ice component, and we will. Hopefully that'll make things a little bit better. We might take a penalty because of that at some point in the future, but hopefully we will have the durability to not take a penalty. Anyway, with that being said, yeah, we're going to go ahead and switch out for some new parts, yeah, we will see how things go, but yeah, we'll fit the new part now, and then, hopefully we won't have to worry about it till later on. As for the turbocharger, it is looking a little bit worn. We may have to change that too going forward, but, for now, we'll do what we can, and, yeah, let's get into the practice and see what we can do here, everybody. So with that being said, I'll leave you to post editing me to talk to you or to take care of you. Alright then, so here we are getting started with the tire wear management program, and this basically was the best lap I could do overall. But yeah, as you can see, it was wet conditions, intermediate tires were the thing, so I pretty much did the best I could here. I tried to get better at the wets, and I think I am getting better at the wets to a degree, but of course the controls, especially when you are using wet tires, is much harder than it is in dry conditions, which is one of the main reasons why, you know, intermediates or any kind of wet condition really isn't a specialty of mine. But, you know, you'll see the rest of the lap, and I did pretty much the best I could on this tire wear management program. But yeah, enjoy the rest of this lap, and I will meet you on the next part here, or whenever the next part of this is. Alright then, so with that being said, I want to make sure that you are liking and subscribing to the channel, because if you do like what's going on in the channel, you want to keep up to date with what is happening next, or what's the next video, please do like, subscribe, and also hit the bell notification, which has popped up on the video somewhere, as well as I am live on Twitch, so there is a little bit of a Twitch advert, or Twitch showing my Twitch channel on the video somewhere, but liking and subscribing helps the algorithm and the YouTube channel be seen more by people who are like you, or people who just like the content that are like you. And yeah, with that being said, thank you for liking, subscribing, and I will return to you on the video when we are in qualifying. Alright then, so here we are in qualifying, and this was my best lap basically for qualifying. So, you know, you'll see me kind of do my best lap. At first it doesn't feel like a good lap, and it kind of may seem like I'm not really doing that well. But trust me, after a while, this was the lap, and this was the best lap I could do, at least during qualifying one, which led us into another part of qualifying, or qualifying 2. Anyway, I'll leave you with the next part of qualifying when that is happening.
There's only one lap of fuel remaining.
Alright, so here we are, Q2, and once again showing you my best lap of the time or of qualifying that I could. Now, you're probably always wondering, why in the world do I go out so late? Well, usually what happens in qualifying, especially going forward with these games, is that I tend to find that most of the time the computers will do better laps than you when you go out for qualifying early on, so it kind of may put you on the back foot for making a better lap, which is why usually I'll wait until like the last 5-10 minutes just to ensure that no matter what I do, I will probably have the best lap possible rather than having a bad lap. Anyway, this is my best lap, and I believe it led me to Q3, but I'll let you enjoy the rest of the lap, and I'll meet you in Q3 if it happened. Well, Q3, the final qualifying, and the last chance we have to get somewhere in the pecking order. And yeah, this was quite a surprise to me. In the end, I actually ended up doing the fastest lap. I mean, I know Canada really isn't the hardest track in the world, but at the same time, it surprises me that even at the difficulty I've chosen, which isn't really the hardest difficulty, but it also isn't really the easiest difficulty, I managed to get as far as I did, and I managed to get where I was. It does show that the AlphaTauri, even though it is known for not having great pace, it does have some good pace from time to time, and it really does have the pace when upgraded correctly, or at least given the right upgrades. Anyway, enjoy the rest of the lap, and I will meet you on the race.
It's time to remind ourselves of our top three: Ava, Norris, and Daniel Ricciardo. Goodbye for now then, but we're really just getting started. Make sure to join us again for Lights Out tomorrow.
Well done. That was a good qualifying performance.
We're back once again beside the St. Lawrence River here in Montreal for the Canadian Grand Prix. The event first moved to a variant of this track back in 1978. It was won by none other than Gilles Villeneuve, the first Canadian to ever win his home race, and in whose honour the circuit would be renamed. If you want flat-out racing, you've come to the right place this weekend, as it's full throttle for 59% of this 2.7-mile circuit, peaking at around 210 miles per hour going into the final chicane. But that speed requires discipline, and there are more than a few close walls here just waiting to punish drivers with a heavy right foot. Anthony Davidson joins me once again in the commentary box, and it's fantastic to have you with us here today. But I'm curious, as a man with experience out on the track, how do you stop those pre-race nerves from becoming overwhelming when you're lining up on the grid?
But from the moment qualifying's over, you start to feel the adrenaline in your body build up and the buzz in your stomach as you anticipate the run down into turn one. It's all a bit like going into battle, and the unknown situation makes you nervous. Those pre-race nerves are a good thing. The day you don't have them means that you don't care anymore. And of course, you have to make sure that all the procedures are second nature to you, so that they're not taking up too much of your capacity.
It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. Ava lines up on pole position, and Lando Norris lines up alongside. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Bottas, Perez, Lewis Hamilton and Verstappen, Leclerc, Sainz, Vettel and Lance Stroll, Tsunoda, Fernando Alonso, Daniel Ricciardo and Ocon, Mick Schumacher, Giovinazzi, Kimi Raikkonen and George Russell, Latifi and Nikita Mazepin. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out. Then let's see who can prevail today.
Alright, and here we are, race day. And yeah, today we're going with the two-stopper or two-stop strategy. I decided to change the strategy up, I think, a little bit here, but for the most part, the two-stop strategy is what we're going with. And yeah, here we go down the formation lap, which kind of was a little bit of a rough start for me. But, you know, of course, it is going to be a formation lap. So, this is just the little bit of the, you know, normal lap that you'd see pre-race or before the race starts. And, yeah, I'll meet you on lap 1 when we get things started here.
Radar is clear. Weather is looking good for now. Keep an eye on the lights. The start sequence will begin as soon as the grid has formed. Be ready with the clutch.
Alright, with the grid reforming, this is our first pole position, at least starting in the race with AlphaTauri. So hopefully we'll get a few more, hopefully we'll get a few better positions, but yeah, we'll see where this goes. Anyway, let's get the race started, and with that being said, we're going to get things going, and yeah, it's a little bit of a struggle because again, compared to the top cars, we really don't have the pace, but you know, it is what it is. And yeah, we'll just see how things go. We'll see what happens. As you can see, it was a bit of a rough start for me going forward, but hey, you know, it is what it is. We did what we could. And yeah, enjoyed first race, or first lap, and yeah, we had a little collision with Bottas, but that's okay. Anyway, enjoy first lap, and I will meet you on the next part of the race, which will be, if I'm remembering correctly, the first pit stop of 2. But yeah, enjoy the first lap and enjoy how the race goes, or how things go going forward right now.
Pit window open. Let's box this lap.
Alright, so here we are, lap 9, and this is my in lap when I did have my first pit stop, should I say. And yeah, this was a very interesting race so far. Position 2, we have lost 1 position, but then again, you know, it was expected, especially considered that the AlphaTauri is just not as powerful or as good as some of the other front runners like the McLaren up ahead of Lando Norris, but we're still behind our Lando Norris. We're chasing him pretty well. We got Sergio Perez right behind us, as well as Lewis Hamilton, and then Carlos Sainz down in 5th, but we do manage to overtake Lando Norris here, and hopefully this is good enough for us to get a good pit stop in the beginning and still kind of get ahead of Lando Norris, but you will see. Enjoy the pit stop, and I will meet you after the pit stop to explain a little bit more of my thoughts and what was happening after we got through the pit stop.
Go, go, go. You'll be racing on the exit. Go, go now. Only 1 stop to go. 1 stop left in this strategy.
So yeah, we have a pretty decent pit stop, no real issues, and yeah, fresh tires for the soft compound, and now we're kind of in that midfield pack trying to fight back whoever we can. Sergio Perez, as you may have noticed, and Max Verstappen got ahead of us, and we had a little bit of a ghosting thing that happened when we were in the pit lane, where one of the Red Bulls kind of got ahead of us. I don't know how that happened, but you know, it happened. Anyway, we're going to be sliding into this train here and trying to gain back some positions if we can. Luckily, we are on the faster compound, so we should have a little bit of an advantage going forward against most of these front runners, especially some of the old tire runners. But yeah, you know, we'll just see how things go, and I will meet you on the next lap that we meet back up on.
Yuki is coming in for his stop. We're going to box this lap, push hard on the in-lap.
Alrighty then, so here we are in lap 20 and our pit window has opened and we are following Max Verstappen. At this point in the race, I thought it was going to be a 1-2 finish, a 1 for Red Bull and then AlphaTauri getting the second finish, which would be, of course, as you all know, their sister team. And, you know, at this point, I was just getting used to the track and trying to do my best to keep up with Max Verstappen. There's no way, really, in reality, that the Red Bull, or the AlphaTauri, should say, would be able to keep up with the Red Bull. But, you know, then again, with the right upgrades and stuff, who knows? Maybe the Red Bull, or AlphaTauri, should I say, would be able to get into the top 2, top 3. But of course, at this point, we're just doing our best to try and keep up with Max Verstappen, who, of course, as you all know, in the 2021 season, did win the championship and his first world championship. But anyway, I'm going to leave you with the pit stop, and we'll meet you back on, of course, the next part of the race when things might have taken a turn for the worse.
Go, go, go. That was our last stop. No more scheduled pit stops.
Alright, so here we are in lap 34, and things were going pretty well. We were in third position, but unfortunately, the engineer over the time called and said that we had some kind of problem and they were looking into it. But unfortunately, this turned into a bit of a disaster that I was not expecting, and well, you'll see what happens. At this point, engine failure, we had some engine problem and we had to retire the car. So unfortunately, while this most likely would have been a top 3 finish for us, we ended up having to retire the car and having to hopefully get our teammate Yuki Tsunoda to do whatever he could to finish for the team. Unfortunately, this was a disaster and an unexpected disaster, but you know, unfortunately, these things happen. We have to do what we can and just retire the car. Hope for the best on the next race. Anyway, I'm going to leave it to pass me to meet you back at the HQ. And yeah, enjoy the rest of the race, everyone.
Anthony Davidson, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
I'd say it was down once again to good, consistent driving, nailing the corners, working to the track conditions, and perfecting the team's strategies. They got all of these things right today, and the results speak for themselves.
Red Bull are our winners today after showcasing some incredible driving. There's been a huge push from them lately to stay competitive with the other teams, and they're certainly proving themselves. So then, it's time to see how this result affects the Drivers' Championship. So, Anthony Davidson.
Well, things didn't really go your way today. Let's have your take. It looked like you had a few mechanical hiccups during that race. How do you feel seeing your teammate up on the podium? Your teammate beat you today. Was it a setup issue or something else? Great. Well, that's everything.
Well, that was interesting, and that's pretty much the race. Yeah, the mechanical failure. Ugh, that was just so unfortunate. You know, the one thing is that mechanical failure was so unfortunate. We're gonna have to see what components failed. Oh man, the energy store just, ugh. Energy store went out the window, so that's, yeah, we'll have to plug a new one. Oh man. And I think we'll have to look into the turbocharger. The turbocharger might also have to be, you know, changed up. But everything else, just like, oh man, just so unfortunate. The energy store just, oof, man, I'm not happy about that. That was just literally the most unfortunate ending. We had such a great race going forward. We had so much riding on it. We could have probably gotten some good points there, and maybe even gotten into a little bit of a better placement for you know, in the case for between Yuki Tsunoda and myself. But it was just, oh man, I feel that was just an unfortunate ending. Just an unfortunate ending, and you know, hopefully you all enjoyed the race. But until then, everybody, thank you everyone for joining me. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you for being here, and hopefully we won't have another retirement like that. But oof, that was a rough one. I mean, we just lost the energy store, and we have to look into replacing it for this next race. But anyway, thank you for joining me, and until the next one, everybody, farewell, everyone.